Morning. This is experiencing. This is what you are kind of eating. The, the question would be to go full-fledged into what is, without this calling back to myself, am I afraid or not? Do I like it or don't I? Maybe your fear from the new cold to the power of the word and so on. So you feel it and you, hopefully, your energy rises to meet what you are going through one moment to moment. You know, in other words, there is always a possibility of experiencing at the moment whatever it is. So from moment to moment, being there, no. Allowing this being tuned in from moment to moment. Now I know I have to speak with my vitality. My voice has to be so that everybody can understand me. It's like going into the water when the tide is soft. So the question of this possibility of allowing changes which are needed is one of these wonderful abilities of the human being. And I wonder, when you do feel you don't like something, and it is necessary, you can be there for it fully if you allow the possibility of a change. There are many, many things in our life which we experience and which influence us for long times. But that does not mean that I drag every one of the experiences and moods into this moment. So my own feeling is, my own experience is, that the more I learn to be there for what at moment I'm there in connection with, or come into connection with, the more wholesome I become. I don't become faithless. Sometimes things are difficult for a long, long time. But that does not mean that I'm not, or you are not, free for what you are doing now. So this is, for me, the only possibility of real health, wholesomeness, to allow the fullness of participation with whatever it is. Often very difficult, often very easy. So you can only get to it when you are awake. It is being nourished. It's being affected by the air around and by the water which nourishes it. In other words, in a way, they are reacting to what we are doing. We are trying to find out, can I meet the stimulus? So the question would be, when I am not in this dutiful tendency of mine, I can live much freer. But if you bat your teeth together and you feel it doesn't want it to be so, then changes happen. So it's not duty, but a true inner reaction. So I hope you understand that this attempts which we make are attempts which apply in every moment of our life. You know, somebody comes into the door and you, there you are, reacting to this, or not. So it's the more honest you are, but also the more willing to find out what happens. It's a matter of inner awareness. You really don't have to find out. It tells you inside. You are being informed. You are not watching yourself. You are only, it feels in you. Your nervous system, your inner connection with things, the feel of something, it reaches you. I don't think we have to listen outside to hear the voices. This voice, which always could begin to have a power on us, can only be heard or felt when it's quiet in us. And there's not this big storm of all kinds of things inside us. So, any question which I would ask you is just a knocking at the door of you. Can you feel how it wants to be can you listen to this inner voice deep in us? Everybody has this wonderful ability in himself. Doesn't have to be taught. So when I ask the question, it may be that it arrives in you, not just in your mind, but in all this. And when you go into life, if you have more quiet inside, you can go to Times Square with all the different activities happening there, all the people, all the cars, all the noise, all the whatever, and be perfectly quiet inside and perceive it. When I came to New York, the first 4 weeks, I went every day to Times Square to exercise my sense of quiet. Even when you are running, no matter what is happening, you could be innerly available, reactive, like this, and not. When I run, Paul, I don't commode myself. I just, will you run once more? If you really want to run, you want to go forward, you feel it. Yeah, that's better. No. Take your hands in your back, yeah. Run, yeah. Run, yeah. In other words, if I want to come forward, I feel it inside, Fortunately, Paul has openness enough not to feel this as criticism, but as an enlightenment. I hope so. It's not from here. It's from your nervous system. This awareness. And once more, I don't know. My own feeling is every day I'm trying to feel out this wondrous interconnection. It needs a great deal of love and determination, and not self-involvement. To be able to receive and to be able to give needs a certain inner fullness and quiet, and not how am I, what is with me, and so on and so on. And what, and you give yourself. You are there for what you do. Everything is partner. everything. There's not just one partner. We live in a world of great partnership. When you are giving, you give. When you are receiving, you receive all that what just at the moment happens. If you don't close yourself off and say, I only want to be happy. I only want to be wonderful. I only want to have that what is agreeable. What is disagreeable, terrible. I don't want to close myself off. So the question is to win the amount of inner energy. And the gifts are constantly around us. Support of the ground, the attraction of the ground says, come, I'm there for you. The constantly in open air which we breathe. Anybody who we meet, we don't know really about the processes which happen when we become more quiet. I don't know whether you ever have heard that in Japan and in China, there is only one word for thought and heart. That means heart means heartful being. Yes. Only one word. In other words, our inner reactions and the thought which come from them is all in one. So, when you become more quiet, and Japan and China are the sources of this, what you call meditation, becoming more quiet, becoming more receptive, so that the head can clear, just as our inner can clear simultaneously. We are receptive. We are not dull here, we are only empty. So that something fresh. Does that make sense? So we are not crowded with undigested stuff. Constantly, this and this and this and this. We allow the head to empty, to get empty, so that something new can travel through. that the head is not like a piled up cars in an accident, you know, one is piled up on the other. One thought is pushed into the other. No, nothing can come through. So, a thought, when it's a real good thought, comes to us and comes to an empty room, can be appreciated. This wonderful landscape, we wonderful people, each one being there for it, what is happening. Not so stingy, not so sleepy, not so selective, but just being there. Just allowing the infiltration. You remember those electro-tolerant cells to us being impregnated wherever we exist. And it goes from there into the sensory nervous system. And others also gives a stimulus, gives the attention, which is a healthy tension. It's a stamina organism. It's not doing, but the reaction, response. So she didn't have to look. It came to her. Right moment. We can't get it when we question ourselves all the time. It's a matter of every cockroach can teach you. Every seagull can teach you. Just see how they are flying. Our attempts are to get to a healthy reactivity again. Instead of, you know, like my mother said, look at me when I speak to you. We have learned to look at everything instead of letting it in. So to let something in, your windows must be not burdened with the old dirt of looking but fresh, clean. This cleaning happens by itself when we give up the looking gradually, because the organism is always grateful for change. But it's not from super tension to super flabbiness. That's what is happening. You just let go and everything becomes soft. But that is not the solution. Reactivity is the solution. I'm still thinking of my little cat. It's not soft. I mean, it curls beautiful, but it's... I just got a fax telling how dangerous my cat has become. But out of its vitality, not out of softness. So you can be purring inside. Even when a cat purrs, it feels just so good and comfortable, but not soft. Responsiveness is not softness. It's not that you say yes to everything. Yes, yes, yes. That's why the education of children now is so dangerous, because the parents have left them. They say, oh, yes, yes, yes. No measure anymore. No reaction. You as the receiver and you as the actor, both were not drumming on so to say, yes, inside. So you bite into the apple, in the moment in which you are there for it. So when I would do this to you, you would say, oh. See? I'm waiting for you. You said, I'm waiting for you. Yeah. So, in other words, you are not drumming on something which isn't tuned in for it. It's like a violin. You would want to play the violin, but all the strings are loose. So you have to, until it sounds, and just the right vibration. You are the violin. You are the players. And life is the player. from moment to moment there. This number one, not a single moment in which the music was relaxed. Every bit was full of life, of healthy tension.
I have a question about readiness. I feel sleepy, I feel groggy. And there, I can feel a desire. I would like to be ready. I would like to be ready. And it's a question for me how to work with that. I mean, in one sense, I know not to work with it at all. Just when I need to carry the mat, that will come.
That's it.
But I was carrying the mat, and I carried it fine, but I didn't really feel ready for it. In my arms, it was a struggle, somewhat, very tiny. But it didn't, the readiness didn't come through, the grogginess yet. And so, it's just how to be with that when I'm not quite there. And I don't want to say, oh, I'm a bad girl because I'm not ready.
This is a very part of the question. I don't give you any answer. That's what you have to discover.
I like
If it's near enough to you, only then. Would you turn around? It's possible that when the eyes are irritated, when you are irritated, when you are not yet really quiet, you see all kinds of colors and forms and all kinds of things. The more quiet you become, the more this disappears. And it becomes more or less caused its light, and through the eyelids sunlight comes in, but it becomes quiet. Would you close your eyes for a second? And would you now gently place your fingertips on your closed eyelids? Gently touch it. Very gently.
At the very end of the class yesterday, Charlotte said, allow your eyes, no, close your eyes. And there was something different. I didn't just go. Something changed in my standing, and I became open. And then they closed.
We can't hear you.
Then they closed. And I understood in that moment, oh, that's readiness. That is readiness. And it just happened. And today, just now with this experiment, that was happening also.
It seems from the time I arrived here today, whatever you offered, from the reading, anything you were saying, I was just so there for it. It was open. It was receiving without any distractions, without any judgings. It was all interested in me. And I felt, there was certain gratitude that I felt.
It was interested in me.
And I don't know what or why or how, but I just feel present and followed all the steps, the suggestions you gave, and I was able to be with it so clear, without naming or judging or seeing. And it just seems so amazing how simple it can be, how pure.
You asked to put your fingertips over the eyes. And it was really calming. Really, really calming. Calming. And then when I took my hands away, my cheeks and my neck just kind of came alive. It was almost as though, I don't know why, but it's fascinating.
Every bit which we might do could have significance. You read something to somebody else, you go a step or two, you greet somebody. All the time, in everything, there is always you or me giving myself in some way to something. You take the pepper and salt and throw something on your food, and you put it back where it belongs. You dress yourself. Everything not in order to celebrate the ego, but to be there for the action, you know. To be there for, to have respect for the table on which you set something, for the air through which you go, to the chair on which you come to sit in. In other words, it all begins to have content, which brings us away from the senseless egocentricity. Do I do it right? And so on. No, oh, again, this mistake. Oh, now I have done it right. And the relation to it is, you know, if that could be gradually coming into our bloodstream, wouldn't it be beautiful? Now. It means business. But it's wonderful. You go through heaven and hell. It's wonderful. It needs a great deal of inner determination and patience. I must tell it. Like you put a rose on your throat behind your ear. Good luck.